Man, last night again, this should be an amazing episode. Welcome to MMA Dynasty, Lucas Tracy MMA, Jacob Ross MMA, and we are about to get into this. But man, what did I tell you? I said that earlier this week. I said, man, I have this big fight field. This card feels like a big one, and it delivered. It delivered. I mean, not every fight, but the ones that really counted, especially the top two on the main card. And man, I had been saying all week that I had a strange feeling about Kamaru Usman. I had a strange feeling the day of the fight. The day of the fight, I wake up in
Text
the
me.
morning and the first thing on my mind is, holy shit, I think he's going to lose. I think Kamaru's going to lose. And earlier in the week, I said, I keep getting 2019 Tyron Woodley vibes from Kamaru Usman. The vibes that I got, well, I didn't get this back in 2019, but I was getting the 2019 Tyron Woodley vibes, the Tyron Woodley that lost to Kamaru Usman. I was getting that about Kamaru going into the Edwards fight. And the thing that I said, the key thing that I said going into this is that even though Kamaru's taking Leon seriously, I didn't see that he genuinely felt that he was in a severe level of threat. And when I say threat, I mean getting KO'd, getting hurt in the octagon. Because as we know, Leon loves to cruise to decisions. And I was fucking right. Kamaru Usman, the last round, had it in the bag. And I genuinely don't think that he really believed that Leon Edwards could be capable of putting his lights out. And look what fucking happened. Crazy, crazy, ridiculous.
Yeah,
It was
I
insane.
yeah we
Holy shit.
like we both predicted Usman by decision, but
Yeah.
we said it for we've been saying this for months or since we started this account. Like Usman's head is not on this division anymore. His head, he talks about fighting Canelo, going up to 205. He's joining a movie. Like his
Yeah.
head was not on Leon or the 170-pound division as a whole, and that showed when even when he was walking out, I just felt like something was off. Like he just didn't seem like the usual hungry Kamar Usman. Like it's almost felt like he was faking like it. You know what I mean? Like when he's walking
Yeah.
in, like seeming super intense, it almost felt fake this time compared to other times where he looked through his eyes. You could see that this guy is ready to kill someone. But this
Yeah,
time it just
absolutely.
felt like forced.
Yeah, it's just again, it felt like protocol. It felt like this is just
Yeah.
another fight. But think about it like this. When the last five times we've seen him in the octagon, well, we've seen him against Colby Covington, and every time he fights Colby Covington, he shows up ready to kill because
Yeah.
he doesn't like Colby, right? He doesn't like Colby. The last thing he wants is Colby to beat him. So he shows up ready. Gilbert Burns. I mean, that had a lot riding on it. That was bragging rights. That was, who's the baddest guy in our gym. Our coaches know what's going to go down.
Yeah.
There was some heat behind that
It
performance.
was, yeah.
You saw that he was hyped up like
Yeah,
beyond belief for that
and
one.
then before the fight, like yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was an intense one.
And then Masvidal, you know how badly he wanted to knock out Masvidal in the other fight, the rematch.
Wanted
And
to
then
prove
exactly
that he can knock people out.
that he
Like
can knock people out. And then against Woodley, obviously, he wanted to win the belt. But like this time, as I said, it's like, where was that? And don't, and here's the thing. I have to give him credit because he lost that first round. He was humiliated in that first round. I don't think any of us expected Leon Edwards to take him down and then take his back and almost submit him. I mean, that
yeah,
was crazy.
holy
But
shit.
for Kamaru to come back and dominate Leon Edwards for the rest of the fight, we're going to talk about the cheating. We're going to talk about that. But for Usman, I mean, I'm going to be honest. In that third, fourth round, I was like, oh my God, this is over. Like Kamaru Usman's beating the shit out of him straight up. And for Kamaru to do that, it was good. It was impressive. But still, again, I do not think that Kamaru Usman was convinced that Leon Edwards had the capability to put his lights out in the octagon. And we've never seen Kamaru Usman like that. Like, bro, Kamaru Usman, and that's how I reacted too. I had the same reaction because I saw him get knocked out and I couldn't even say anything. I was just like, that's not supposed to happen. Like Kamaru Usman is not supposed to get knocked out
By Leon Edwards,
by
especially.
Leon Edwards. Like if he gets knocked out, it's supposed to be by Masvidal or
Yeah.
Burns or Chimaev, not Leon.
Yeah.
I thought if Leon won, he would win by decision, but
Yeah.
crazy,
I'm
man.
in,
I mean, this is
I'm in shock.
one of the most one of the most spectacular. This, do you think that this is the highest stake knockout ever, or one of the
I
highest stakes
mean,
knockouts
I think
ever.
it was. It had to have been. It was 1 minute left. Like
1 minute left
like
against
beating the
Usman,
guy,
like
yeah,
pound for
the
pound.
guy who's pound for pound number one. We were talking about it last week's episode that he's top five all time undisputed if he beats Leon.
Yeah,
Like like Usman is big, like one of the greatest, And
yeah,
with 1 minute left, the challenger head kick to the no head kick to the guy who's never been finished in his whole career. Like
yeah.
it's unreal.
When
I
was the
can't
last
believe
time we
it.
saw something like this? Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, but that was different because that was Ronda Rousey wasn't a dominant champ like Usman, at least not
Yeah,
like that.
not like
Um,
that exactly. Not the
yeah.
same skill, not the same. Yeah,
The
but
only
like
other thing
still,
that also George St. Pierre when he lost to Matt Serra, I mean that's a little similar, but still like
at that
that-
point in his career, he wasn't. He didn't have the resume that even Usman had. He wasn't even
yeah.
close to what Usman had
And
right now.
also the other thing about that was it was early in the fight.
That was
Wasn't
more
the
of a
last
fluke.
wasn't yeah, it was a TKO or submission. I don't even remember.
It
But
was a TKO. It was more of a fluke too. Like
yeah, like Usman got knocked out clean. Like that
got
was
knocked out
not
clean with a clean setup head kick. I mean, again, faked them out. He threw a bunch of feints, and then he faked the jab, faked the two, went up high when Usman was blocking the center of his face. That was skill. That was all skill. Also, Leon Edwards in the first round showed his skill. I mean, straight up took his back, took him down. But
that
like,
was crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, man. During the second, third, fourth round, we're gonna get into the cheating. Like, don't get me wrong, but I kept thinking this is such a disappointing performance from Edwards. He has nothing for Usman after the first. I kept thinking that. What were you thinking up until the head kick? After the first round, what were you thinking? Second, third, fourth,
So
aside
I
from the
was
cheating? Yeah.
so what I was thinking was a few things. So I was thinking one that Leon looks very nervous. I don't
Yeah.
know if you noticed, but he tripped a few times, like from nothing.
Yeah.
Got himself into bad situations.
A couple times getting
And
lit
then
up.
after that, the second round, second through five until the end, the he just seemed like he wasn't doing anything at all. Like
No, no.
doing anything. And I was like, the first thing I thought about was the altitude. I was like, he's probably like, I mean, it affected a lot of fighters last
Yeah.
night, and I was like, that's probably what it is. And I'm like, the nerves and all that. Like, so I thought it was kind of that, and I thought Usman. I was surprised because when I saw Edwards take down Usman, had some little bit of ground and pound. I thought he should have went with some more elbows, maybe
Yeah.
cut up. Took his back, almost submitted him.
Yes. That was
I I
I
thought
thought he was gonna get submitted.
I mean, I didn't think he was gonna get submitted there. I just thought like I was like, okay, like this is the Tyron Woodley moment where Tyron Woodley Usman moment where Tyron Woodley got taken down the first time
Yeah.
after not being taken down in a while. He had that he didn't have the 100% takedown.
But yeah, it was like
It
it
was
was
it
one of
was
the
pretty
guys that
good.
was extremely hard to take down.
Yeah. So once that happened, I was like, okay, like this is it. This is what it is. And I thought that
Yeah,
the rest of the fight that Usman was just gonna get dominated, honestly.
same.
And then second round, Usman came out looking like a beast. Third round, beast. Fourth round, amazing.
But fifth round, he changed it up. He
Yeah,
didn't.
fifth round, he tried striking a little bit more with Edwards, and you just
I
can't do
think he thought Edwards was really broken, and it looked like he was all the way up until the fifth. As the fight went on, it looked like Edwards was like straight up letting go of his care of the fight. It looked like he didn't care about the outcome. It looked
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
literally was getting broken in that fight. And I mean, I understand that the kick was all skill and it wasn't a fluke, but like still, dude, Edwards didn't look that great in the majority of that fight. He had two amazing moments, which is all that counts. It's all that counts.
I think that gives him confidence going into the next fight, though.
Definitely, because all he needs is one moment.
Can have his
He's that
worst.
slick.
And he was talking about it many times. He told literally everybody, like last night's performance was horrible performance, like from him. Like he was very unhappy with how he was performing, all that stuff. He was like, that just wasn't me, like it just didn't feel like me. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I really do. I think what we saw in the first round could be more than usual, Leon. You know what I mean? So I think that gives them a lot more confidence if they fight a third time. Speaking of, so after last night, instantly I was like, okay, got to run it back in London, all that stuff. But as time goes by, as I woke up today, I'm thinking they shouldn't run it back instantly. I think they should let Usman relax, recover, give him like 7 months or something.
Mhm.
Let the winner of Chimaev Diaz fight Leon.
And then the
And
winner
then
of that
Usman will
fight.
get the title shot after. Because I just like, dude, the division's been held up so much in the last few years. Like you just like you can't hold it up again. Like it's just
I understand that. And the thing is, think about it like, I mean, hold on. They are booked for a long time. So they're booked for September, October, November, December, January. I mean,
yeah, but they're
honestly,
going to
Leon
they're going
doesn't
to
fight that
London in
often
March.
anyway.
They're going to London in March. And I guess it's just the thing is, bro, like
They could go, they might go before then because they
yeah,
could,
like that's yeah,
Dana says they can go whenever.
like I just think that Chimaev won't take much damage from the,
Nah, he ain't
the
gonna take any
Diaz
damage.
fight. So like why like have him wait? So I think like that's what I want to see. I want to see Chimaev versus the first Leon, and then Usman will take the winner because I just like, dude, like I don't want to see Usman after a short layover coming back. He needs to recover. From a head kick like that, like it fucks you up in your brain, but it also it also messes you up like just like act
Mentally.
like when you're going into another fight, like he needs time to like really think about things and gain his confidence back and that kind of stuff. So I don't like him fighting soon. I think he needs time to recover.
The only issue with that is Chimaev, if he beats Edwards, then you
That's
don't see Usman versus Edwards again.
that's fine.
At
Who
least not for a
cares?
while.
That who cares? I mean, that's a big fight already. Like who I honestly think that's better because like the fight that the UFC wants to see the most, it's Chimaev versus Usman.
Yeah.
And if you're not confident that Usman would beat Edwards the third time, which we're not after what happened last night, we're
And
not
then
as
you can't be that confident that he
then
beats Chimaev.
then you have to have Chimaev beat Edwards, have fight Edwards, and probably beat Edwards. So
I think the thing is, I I think that the UFC I think the UFC is gonna want Edwards Usman next because I think they like his chances. First of all, they want to do it in the UK. And if they're putting Edwards in the UK, they want to give him the best chance to win. It's gonna be Usman or Chimaev. I think they're gonna go with Usman because again, dude, Chimaev, like not many people have a chance to even beat him. And I think that they're gonna like Edwards' chances in a Kamaru Usman trilogy
that's a good.
in the UK. Because
That's
if they have Chimaev fight him in the UK, it's like you're kind of having him slaughtered in front of his home country. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, if
I'm just gonna be honest. Like, listen, I think Usman was able to take down Edwards left and right. I think that Chimaev would beat Edwards. I think he'd beat him.
I think
I
you finish him in the first round.
And I think again, we finally saw what Usman looks like off of when he's taken down,
It's not.
and he ain't got much.
He
So that's what I'm
Chimaev
saying. If Edwards can take down Usman, Chimaev can take him down, and he's gonna. And guess what? I guarantee you, Chimaev's better at getting the back and choking people than Edwards is. So that's what I'm saying. I think
was
Usman's
good.
good. Let's not be honest, because Usman's fuck, man. It's so weird because he got knocked out, but like he kind of dominated Leon Edwards in a lot of those exchanges. Even in the striking, he was overwhelming Edwards. He was breaking him. Edwards didn't have enough gas. Of course, he had enough gas to throw a gnarly head kick and knock him out, but like Usman was kind of dominating that fight. So it's not like Usman is looking that bad, but again, he just got knocked out.
See how he
And
recovers from that, I mean, he could be a
yeah,
completely different fighter. A lot of people don't come back the same after stuff like that. But I
yeah,
think regardless, it was a great night for us Chimaev fans, because
yeah.
I think last night showed that Chimaev would smoke Usman or Edwards. That's what I
Yeah.
think it showed. And I think yeah, Chimaev, it's just a matter of time before he's the next champion. I'm just looking
I
forward to it.
I just don't like how the guy that he's fighting before his championship, like the guy that's gonna really sell us how good he is Nate Diaz. I just, listen, Nate Diaz asked for this fight. He wanted the toughest guy. He's getting what he deserves, but like still, I would much rather see Chimaev get a title fight after beating a top guy. Like he just beat Burns, but if he beats another guy like that, then we're all like, okay, well, he's definitely going to win the belt. But there's so many questions if he beats Nate Diaz because it doesn't really tell us anything. I mean, listen, do we really, okay, let's say he does go out there and finish Nate Diaz in the first 3 minutes. I mean, are we surprised? Like that's kind of what he's supposed to do. If he doesn't finish Nate Diaz, then I mean, how bad is that going to look? Let me ask you: if Chimaev doesn't finish Nate Diaz, is that going to look bad? I think it will. I think it'll look. I think it'll look really bad.
I think it would look bad. Yeah, honestly I think it would look really bad because like you just think of Chimaev and like how many different ways he can win by.
And how much of a beast he is, bro,
Yeah,
physically.
and he would have 5 rounds to finish him. Yeah, I think it would look really bad. I
I
think it
think
would.
he's gonna finish him with cuts, bro. If he doesn't
I
choke him out, I think he's the way I think it ends is he either chokes him out, and because Nate Diaz's chin is so ridiculous, I think he finishes him due to ground and pound, like where he's not unanswered shots, or due to a cut. Because I guarantee you he's gonna cut up Nate Diaz, and I think that could easily end the fight.
I think he's gonna finish him in the first round TKO. I think he's gonna
Yeah.
take. I think he's gonna take him down very early. I think this is how the fight's gonna go. We'll cover more like as the week goes by, as that week comes.
Yeah.
But what I think Chimaev early in the fight goes back to old school Chimaev, picks Diaz up, slams him in the ground, gets on top of him, ground and pound TKO finish. That's how I think it's gonna go.
I
Yeah,
think so.
that's the only outcome I really see happening, honestly, with Diaz being such a tough motherfucker, you know?
So let me ask you, if if Usman and Edwards rematch, I mean, have a trilogy, who would you favor?
Want to know something? Because at
Yeah.
first I thought, right instantly, I thought Usman.
Okay.
Today I had more time to really think about it. I think Edwards. And I think Edwards because I think he has the confidence in
Yeah.
the next fight.
It's
I
a
think
big deal.
it's home territory. I think he's taken Usman down before, so Usman knows he could get taken down by Edwards. Usman has to fear the kicks and know that
Yep.
he could get knocked out. Usman
Yep.
in the his previous fights was made Usman so good. One of the things that's made Usman so good is that knows that he can rely on his chin.
He's
Now,
got a great chin. He's always had a
yeah,
good
yeah.
chin.
But now he doesn't know that. After you
Yeah, I
get
mean, like that head kick would have KO'd anybody, but like
yes, but
got
still, like
KO'd now, and that ruins your chin in a way.
what it does is that when guys never get finished in their career, they think that their chins are indestructible. That's just how it is. And when it goes, like they're like, oh, I'm human. And then like that leads to
More
like getting
tension.
finished more and more. You know what I mean? So I think like, yeah, I would favor Edwards, but I could see Usman winning though. He should be the favorite still because as he dominated that fight until the end in the first round also.
I
But
think I agree, man. I think I'd lean towards Edwards because of that, and because he's going to be more confident. He's not going to fight at altitude. He's probably going to fight in front of the UK fans. Like I'm going to be surprised if Usman, dominates him for 5 rounds. No, but I would lean towards Edwards. Maybe even another finish. Maybe even I mean, look. We've seen guys like Usman get to the belt and have like no finishes, and then all of a sudden he starts knocking everyone out. Edwards could just go on a crazy streak where he's just knocking dudes
that's
out.
true.
Hell, bro, I'm just gonna say it now. Fuck, what if Khamzat gets knocked out by Edwards? And I think Khamzat.
Oh,
I
no
think.
way.
Hold on. I think Khamzat beats everybody. I think Khamzat's toughest fight still would be Shavkat Rakhmonov and Usman. I think Edwards is an easier fight, but I'm just saying, like that kick KOs anyone, pretty except for Marvin Vittori. That's it. That KOs pretty much everyone that exists. Um, but like again, first of all, I don't think that's gonna be it because it was the last round. That kick again. I don't think Edwards is gonna start knocking everyone out, but straight up, I'd love to see that fight.
I
I
want
mean,
to
I,
say
I
something
think
else
I'd lean towards Edwards.
about that with Usman. And I don't know if you noticed this, Edwards had an exchange where he had a left hook, and
Yeah.
it really wobbled Usman. Usman went
Yeah, it
like,
was early in the fight.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think Usman's chin's been overrated. I think it has. I know we just said he had a good chin, but I'm actually like changing. I think his chin's been overrated. I think the guys he's fought against, like Colby's got pillow
He's
head.
got no power.
Masvidal had to worry about his Usman's takedowns, so he couldn't go with his full strike. Burns, he got wobbled by multiple times. And Woodley was just getting destroyed the whole fight. So he didn't really take any clean shots by Woodley. So who knows? I mean, dude, like if you're getting wobbled by Colby Covington, like you don't have a great chin. And
But the thing is, like, Masvidal got wobbled a couple times in the Covington fight. I agree with you. I don't think he's got like the craziest chin, but like one of the reasons why guys can be long reigning champions is first of all, you can't have a bad chin and
no,
be a
no,
long
not by
reigning
any
champion.
means, but
Like Kamaru Usman definitely has a good chin. Was it like, but I don't know. Like no one ever talked about Usman's chin as if it's like ridiculous, but it's basically the chin that you need if you're gonna be a champ, because you can't be a champion and have a bad chin. You have to be able to take shots.
yeah, we
Like
saw Luke
got
Rockhold.
hit all the time. Usman got hit all the time. Adesanya can get hit.
Adesanya's, I think I would argue that Adesanya has a good chin.
He has a good no. He has a good chin. He has a good
That's a
chin for
guy.
sure. Let's talk chins. Pound for pound? Who's got the best chin out of all champions? I think it's got to be Francis has got a sick chin, dude.
Big Francis #1.
Dude, he got cracked by Stipe multiple times in both their fights, and never once was wobbled. He got cracked where he's like bounced back and he had to move back a bit, but never once has he been out on his legs. Uh, Holloway's no longer the champ, so can't really say him. Charles gets dropped. He's got a decent chin, but he gets dropped all the time. Figueredo doesn't, he has a pretty good chin. Honestly, I think it's clearly got to be Yuri's got a decent chin. Yuri's got a decent chin. I think Francis, though. Francis got to have the best pound. Like straight up, I couldn't see anyone KOing.
Let's each go with our top 5 pound for pound chins.
Okay, are we doing champions or just people?
No, anybody.
Okay, Vittori, Max Holloway, Francis Ngannou, fuck, Paulo Costa. I know he got KO'd by Izzy, but he's got a sick chin, dude. Like, dude, he was taking big shots from Rockhold, not one.
Romero too.
And Yoel Romero, who's not in the UFC anymore, I'd have to put him in. I'd have to put Yoel Romero in, even though he's not technically in the UFC at the moment.
Yeah, I would go with who was I gonna say? So let's start with
Vittori, bro. Vittori is
Vittori, yeah, for sure. Vittori. I was thinking about somebody who Volk. I would say Volk. Volk up there, yeah.
Okay.
Volk, John Jones.
Jones is a great
Jones never been wobbled. I'm gonna say somebody. It may be a hot take, but it's all good. I think Conor. Connor's got one of the best chins. I think it's very
good chin.
I
don't know about any more though.
Yeah, but what happened with Poirier, I thought that had to do with more like him being gassed and like all the leg kicks. Like I don't think he got knocked out because of Poirier's power or because his chin didn't hold up. And I think
well, first of all, bro, I gotta say he got knocked out. Like straight up, he is like, dude, I could see that. I've seen it a billion times, right? Is like flush on the chin, done. And I know his leg was screwed, but like that was a brutal one, bro. People that wasn't a bad KO, bro.
You may be right that Conor now, but Conor back in the day, like
he had a sick chin.
Yeah, like also especially with the Khabib fight.
Diaz, I can't believe I missed out on.
Yeah, Diaz also, but I would say Diaz. I mean, it was Ferguson, but not anymore. Who else? I think we're missing some.
First of all, when we talk about chins, are we taking into like, for example, would you say that Charles has a good chin or Diaz? Because they get a lot.
Okay, I get what you mean.
Like, can guys have a good chin who get dropped a lot? Like, what does a chin
don't
get knocked out or yeah?
That's a tough question actually,
Because
because John,
Colby has an amazing chin. I have to say, Colby's got a sick chin, bro.
yeah,
He
but he
gets
gets,
dropped though. He can get dropped, but he's got an amazing chin.
yeah.
Good recovery.
Yeah, that's a good question because like guys like John Jones, Max Holloway
They don't get dropped.
don't get dropped, and
Or
they
Vittori.
just have
Vittori
sick
don't get
chins
dropped, bro.
overall. But there's guys like I mean, like you could argue Charles has a sick chin because he's taken some sick shots that would
Yeah.
put most people out. He got dropped, but he got right back up and finished the fight. So like that's a good question. And I think it's tough because I don't think there's that many guys who don't get dropped at all. Like I don't think there's that much harm in getting dropped here and there. You know what I mean? I think the
Yeah.
only guys who don't get dropped are like Holloway, John Jones,
Vittori's never been dropped, bro. And
Vittori,
he
and
took
then
head kicks from Costa multiple
oh
times.
yeah, yeah. So all right, so this is what I'm gonna say Francis,
Francis, bro,
no
crazy.
order whatsoever. Holloway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say John Jones, Vittori, and I'm gonna say Volk.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Jones has an amazing chin. I could see, but there is a guy you can put in. I could see Francis. Francis can
Yeah,
kill anyone, bro.
that's a little. Also, I mean, you could even say Surreal Gone.
Cyril Gahn's got a decent chin.
Surreal Gone's got a good chin. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's been really tested as much. Like I feel like Surreal's Gone's. Yeah, like I mean, in the Francis fight, he didn't really take any clean shots from Francis. You know,
Worst chin in the UFC.
worst chin. How about we now
One
do
guy, just who comes to mind?
top five worst chins? How about we do that?
Give me the first guy that comes to mind.
First guy that comes to mind, worst chin. I mean, I was thinking about Overeem, but he's not in the UFC anymore. So that's a tough question.
I have my answer,
Yeah, you
bro.
give me your answer. What? Let me.
Johnny Walker has the worst chin.
Johnny Walker. Okay, yeah, Johnny Walker. Yeah,
He can't take a single shot. He's straight up anything that lands on this guy's face, he's done. He's
dude.
wobbled
Yeah,
or he's done.
and Luke Rockhold. I would, but not.
That's
Not
the thing, though. We gotta talk. Let's talk about
okay.
that.
Let's perfect
I
time.
was shocked that Luke Rockhold was that tough, and equally as shocked at the fact that Paulo Costa ate 20 of those famous Luke Rockhold kicks to the body. He ate 20 hard body kicks, roundhouse kicks, right to his abdomen. 20 of them, like no exaggeration, all
Like,
of them hard, and ate them like it was nothing. That was crazy to see. Also crazy to see Rockhold not getting dropped once. He got wobbled a few times, but didn't get dropped once. Costa was landing big shots on him, man. Not dropped once. And I know Costa doesn't have like the craziest one punch knockout power, but he hits hard.
yeah, he
Like,
does.
look at him.
His combinations are freaking tons of power in them. And I think
I
what
was
happened with that was, I think the 3 years off really helped his chin a lot. You know what I mean?
definitely.
Because I feel like you don't you take less contact, so you really let your body recover a bit. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's what happened. I think 3 years off benefited his chin, and I don't know why. Before the fight, like last week, I kind of had a feeling that this would maybe go to decision just because of the 3 years off, and then that's what happened. He took some crazy shots by Costa and didn't get dropped. So that was very impressive. I think that was honestly a great way to go out with his career, honestly, you know, like
Perfect way to go
he,
out other than
because
him like
it also stops that myth about him having a bad chin. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
now you could say like, wait a second, he got knocked out by Bisbing, but like that's a good clean knockout. He got knocked out by Jan and he got knocked out by Yoel, but Yoel and Jan hit extremely hard and they caught him at the perfect time.
so you
So
could
like you could, I don't know. People are saying that maybe he didn't have a bad chin the whole time. Maybe he's got a decent chin.
maybe he was fighting too much or sparring too hard.
Maybe
Like
exactly, or
there's
maybe he was maybe in this fight, like he was moving with the punches or just seeing them coming. And again, you get knocked out by the punches you don't see. And Luke Rockhold, a lot of the shots that Costa was hitting him with were straight on. And you know, it's harder to get knocked out with a punch that's coming straight at you where you could see it. But man, like the craziest thing for me was the fact that Luke Rockhold survived the whole fight after looking like he was a zombie within 3 minutes of the first round. I mean, within 3 minutes, as soon as they got up out of the grappling exchange in the first round, seeing Rockhold that gassed, I thought that there was 0% chance of him making it to the final bell. And he looked equally as tired the rest of the fight. And again, the fact that he survived and actually put up a good fight. I mean, the last 2 rounds, I know Costa won, but like they were relatively close. I mean, it's not like Rockhold wasn't landing. As I said, he landed 20 good body kicks, but that's just the body kicks. He was landing good shots, spinning back kicks. He was landing, hard shots to Costa's head. I mean, he was doing well. Sloppy. That fight was so sloppy, but as a fan, that was amazing to watch. Fight of the night. The best possible way for Rockhold to lose. Again, I had no idea that would have went to decision, and I didn't think that there was a chance that it would have went to decision after seeing Rockhold's body language. I've never seen someone, putting their hands on their knees because of how tired they were. He got his nose broken, so he couldn't breathe out of his nose. He had to breathe out of his mouth, but he looked he looked terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like they both looked sloppy. Costa, he did like if Rockhold didn't look that good, but he was so tired and you could see it. Costa was sloppy too. I mean, I know he won, but
yeah,
if anything, I'm more impressed with Rockhold than I am with Costa, even though
yeah.
Costa won. It's a weird,
I would say the thing about Costa, I feel like those kind of fights, I feel like you really can't take too much out of the
no.
winner because they're sloppy fights. They're both just not gonna look. They're just like everything goes out the like all like your technique, everything goes out the window in a fight like that. I feel like it was a bit like Gilbert Burns Chimaev, where I think people are kind of like overreacting to how Chimaev fought, and I feel like it's kind of a bit similar. I think that was kind of the fight that it was a fight of the night kind of fight. Like it was like a brawl, and I think when fights are like that, all the technique, everything goes out the window. And I just feel like that's just not how he's gonna fight in future fights.
Also, he was gassed too. Even
Sorry.
though Luke Rockhold looked more gassed, like Costa was gassed.
Oh yeah, he was. And I think he was gassed because I think he thought he was gonna finish him in the first round. So gave used a ton of energy in the first round and was like, oh, I'm not finishing this guy, Like I thought he was gonna go out very quick. He doesn't like have a good chin and he couldn't get him out. So he just didn't expect that. He thought like, yeah. So yeah.
And again, they had a lot of heat going into this fight, but I guarantee you, they both respect each other now.
Yeah, and the thing I would have to say, other than Rockhold's toughness, what I was really impressed by was was um was Costa's wrestling and jujitsu. Like,
Yeah,
holy shit. That like nobody does that to Luke Rockhold. Like I
yeah,
know he's old now, but like you don't just lose that wrestling, you know what I mean? That's something you don't really lose.
yeah.
And he was literally
He
just
was
like
on top of
taking,
Rockhold
yeah,
on Mount.
yeah, that was crazy. Took him down like it was nothing, controlled him on the ground. Yeah, yeah, like when Costa slipped a little bit, Rockhold got on top of him. He just threw him off.
Yeah,
It was crazy, and I think that gives me a lot more confidence with Costa, like in future fights, because like I think he should mix it up a little bit in future fights, like maybe like especially like if he goes against a guy like Adesanya or something in the
yeah,
future. Like, what if he brings out some wrestling? Like that could be a good idea.
could be. And he's still young. I'd like to see him fight Whitaker after. Yeah, I think Whitaker is going to beat Vittori, so I'd like to see him fight Whitaker next because they were supposed to fight last year. And the thing is, Whitaker can't get a title shot anytime soon.
Not until Izzy's not the champion anymore. I don't think, unless he.
Exactly. And the thing is, Costa, you should get one of those guys out of the way. So I think like, I
I
think
disagree. Actually, I think they should put him against a guy like Jack Hermanson. That's
Herman,
that's the fight I want
Herman
to.
Chris Curtis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the fight. He's in the top 10. Like I don't think you want to rush with Costa right now. I think he just got to win. You want to get him back, get his full confidence back. I
I
think
think so. I think you should give. I think that's a better
you know what
idea.
I'm saying. Like I just like he'd beat Hermanson. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe how about this? How about this?
Cannonier and Strickland, the winner
What
of that.
about what?
The winner of Strickland
Yeah,
Cannonier.
that's what I was thinking. What about the winner of Strickland?
That's very promotable. If you fight Strickland, you could really promote that. They would
I
talk
think
shit.
I think he'd fuck up Strickland too,
I think he'd beat Strickland,
and
bro.
I think he'd beat Cannonier too. I think he'd beat either of those guys.
That'd be a war. I think him and Cannonier would be a war.
Yeah, so
I don't know who'd win that. I think he might beat Cannonier, but because both of them have good chins, I could see that being a war, bro.
in
I'd
a 3-rounder,
like
bro.
Yoel Romero. Cannonier is not as not the same as Yoel, but I think that'd be a similar fight. That would be I think that's an even better. Here's the thing about Jack Hermanson, bro. He dominated Chris Curtis and still managed to look, and he outstruck him and had a lot of output, but he still managed to be one of the most boring fighters. Like Hermanson, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I could give less of a fuck about Jack Hermanson fighting. I think
Dude,
he's so boring for me to watch, bro.
he
He doesn't have
I
any
forgot.
power. He's a decision merchant. Like, sure, he can submit some guys,
He's
but
tough. That's all.
yeah, dude.
Like
He's
the thing about I don't know how we forgot him on our top 5 most boring fighters, but
yeah, dude. He's up
Jack
there.
Hermanson. Okay, Jack Hermanson and Sean Brady are my most boring fighters.
Jack Hermanson is the striking version of Sean Brady. He doesn't even have a low output. Like he actually throws a lot, but he's just so fucking boring,
He's
dude.
also just
I
not
fall asleep during
good.
all of his fights.
I just
All
don't
of
think
them.
he's good. Like I honestly, I don't
Not
think
that good.
Hermanson's a good fighter.
He's not
Like
that good.
I just think he's a tough fighter. That was it. And
He's
Chris
tough.
Curtis,
Yeah.
dumbass. Chris
Yeah, Chris
Curtis
Curtis
literally
looks
threw like
terrible.
10 punches. That was a disgrace.
Yeah.
But speaking of a disgrace, Aldo Merab.
Dude,
Like
we got to talk
holy
about this. The first thing I got to say is, listen, I understand that a lot of us wanted Aldo to win and he's a legend and all that, but like, bro, Aldo didn't do fuck all in that fight. He didn't do shit. And just because Merab, listen, the reason why people are angry is this. They thought that if Merab were gonna win, it would be by grappling. He didn't grapple, and he won by pressuring Aldo up against the fence and using his wrestling and mixing it up and adding his striking in. He outstruck Aldo. Aldo didn't do anything, and a lot of people are pissed off because Aldo lost to Merab because he got outstruck up against the fence and got pressured by the better wrestler. And here's the thing: sure, Merab didn't look amazing. Merab didn't wow that many people, but he pressured Jose Aldo and neutralized him and did it with his striking up against the fence as a wrestler does it. And again, bro, Aldo didn't do shit, and people were pissed off at Merab. I don't understand it. Even Dana White was saying, "Yeah, that's a pathetic performance and all that." Like he did what he needed to do. He couldn't take him down. He tried taking him down, so he struck with him against the fence and he won. Like I don't understand why people were so upset. What was he supposed to just go in there like swinging and have a war? Fuck that. Like he did everything that he could have done. He pressured him. He was in his face at all times, shooting takedowns. I don't understand what more you wanted to see from him. It just doesn't make sense. People should be upset at Aldo because he didn't do anything. He didn't take any risks at all.
Yeah,
He looked good when he threw, but he never threw.
I think the thing is, like, if you were Merab, like, what would you do? Like, it would be that exact same thing. Like, you're not gonna.
What could he have done better? I don't.
Yeah,
understand.
you're not gonna. First of all, he's not gonna strike with Aldo. That's not gonna be like fully strike. He's not gonna have a
like
striking.
just straight up stand with him.
Not gonna have a kickboxing fight with Aldo.
No,
he's not gonna win that. The way for him that he was gonna win the whole time was from his wrestling, and if the wrestling's not working, just keep trying. Yeah, like leaning against the fence. Like there's no problem with that. And the thing I really hated about with the whole Aldo thing was that he thought he was up by the 3rd round.
No,
are you kidding me? And he kind of coasted that 3rd round. Like, are you kidding me? Like that was pathetic. Like you would think a guy a legend on his last title run ever will have some more urgency than that, rather than trying to coast through a decision win that he didn't have. He wasn't going to have that decision. I don't know how anybody could see that Aldo would be up in those scores, like scoreboards. Like
no urgency, even in the last round, playing it safe. Again, there were moments where Aldo would throw something and it was slick, it was fast, it would catch Merab, like the knees coming at him. But again, no urgency, cruising, getting beat up against the fence. Just, I don't understand. Like, he just lost out on a massive opportunity, and he's 3 steps back. He's 3 steps away, whereas he was 1 step. If he won that fight, he could have had a title shot next. What is he going to have to win? 3 in a row now? Like, dude, he fucked himself up. And Merab, what's he gonna do now? Because is he gonna fight Aljo? Is he gonna move down? I don't know. But I'll
No,
tell you this: after saying that, I think Aljamain, if Merab can do that, I bet Aljamain could do that. I bet Aljamain would have, listen, we all thought that if he couldn't take him down, then Aldo would win. But like we see that you could just hold him up against the fence and that works. I bet Aljo might be able to do
yeah,
that. So
Aljo would do that, or Aljo would latch onto you too.
yeah,
You just think of it because like Aljo is better than Merab. You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
a better version of that, like the worst version of that won. So a better version probably would have won a little bit easier. But I just think I just like again, like it just really upsets me that like Aldo thought just because he's Jose Aldo that he would get the decision win by doing like nothing, by stuffing some takedowns. I that
Not
that
gonna
just
work.
that just pisses me off. And like I've been a huge Aldo fan, but it's just like it's really made me change my opinion on Aldo. And like it really
That
it
was, I mean,
gives me a
that
sour
was
taste in my mouth,
pathetic. That was
honestly.
pathetic.
That was
Yeah.
really pathetic. And I
Who should he fight next? I think he should fight Cruz next. But what did we do with Merab? Because like, let's say he could move down to 125 if he doesn't want to fight Aljo, and he's probably earned a top level fight or a number one contenders fight in that division. Or you give him, what are you gonna give him? Cheeto? I don't want to see
yeah.
that. I mean, I think Cheeto deserves better. Merab's not a big name. Cheeto deserves better. I think Cheeto should fight, maybe the winner of Piotr Jan and O'Malley.
That
So
is
maybe
actually a really good point. That is
maybe
a
you give him the winner of Song Yadong and Corey if he decides to stay at 135.
yeah, dude, that's a tough choice because I think if Aldo won, it would have made the whole division like make a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you would have given Aldo a title shot.
What do you even
But
do? Like, is he gonna stay? Has he mentioned that yesterday? What
Rob,
he's gonna do? Yeah, is he gonna stay
Rob,
at
Rob
135?
didn't even say anything. That I didn't really like that. I have to say, like I know Aldo's your boy, but like you gotta at least like give us some options. Like give the UFC some like options. Like what would you want to do? Like he didn't even
Yeah.
really say anything. Like he and I that kind of just was a little disappointing, honestly. And what disappoints me a lot, I just have to say this, is when fighters fuck up on post fight interviews. Like that's the best opportunity to call your shots. The best opportunity that you could
Yeah.
possibly have to call
You
your
could
shots.
you could have it. You could change your entire career. You could change your
Exactly.
whole life with a
Exactly. And
good
when
post fight
guys like
interview.
freaking even Fazeev last month, when Fazeev called out Rafael Nadal instead of freaking calling out like
Trying
Justin
to be
Gaethje,
funny.
Conor
Exactly.
McGregor, like anybody, like it's just like
Think about it like this:
missing out
if
on
you're a
money.
random fighter and you get the win, even if it's by decision, and you get on the mic and you just start screaming, "Fuck this guy! I'm gonna fight him! I'm gonna whoop his ass! I'm the baddest dude!" And you start saying that, bro, everyone's gonna know who you are. Ariel Helwani's gonna invite you onto the show. You're gonna get 10,000 new followers in a minute.
Just don't
Like,
get
I
it.
mean, it's simple. Just if you're a manager, if you're someone's manager, that should be on the top of the list for fight week. Is you better memorize what you're gonna say and say it on the mic.
I just don't get like how can you possibly not do that, especially when you're fired up like that?
Yeah,
Like that's easy to do. You know what I mean? Like
you don't even have to say like "fuck you" or whatever. You just
oh, you just have
like
to call. You have to
call
call
someone
someone
out
out.
and say something interesting.
It's the best chance you can have to get the fight you want. And that's
Yeah,
what every fighter wants. Every fighter wants a certain fight always. They want the best fight for them, and you have a chance to get the best fight for you for yourself by calling them out at the mic because Dana White, if you Dana White is great and the whole UFC is great at
yeah,
matchmaking. And if if someone calls someone out, it creates hype towards that fight. So they're
yeah.
gonna if someone calls someone out, there's more than likely that they're gonna attempt to make that fight.
Tried. Yeah,
And I
exactly.
just and I it's just so stupid, especially like when you wasted an opportunity, like like you said, the Instagram
It's
followers,
just
all that.
laziness. It's just laziness, and they're just, some of these guys are just scared to just speak out and be
Get it.
seen.
Get it.
They
You're
want to be
right.
under the radar. They want to have that comfortable, like, go to the gym, fight. That's it. But
That's
you're
so
just losing money.
we're in the
You don't
social
have to be
media.
Colby Covington. You could be respectful. You could say like, "Yo,
Maybe
If your
Michael
physique
Chandler.
say you say, you know what, Gagey, I'm a better striker than you. Let's see who's the better striker. Let's stand in toe to toe. We'll go strike for strike. Let's see who's got the best striking. I'll take you out. That's
Yeah,
not disrespectful. That's sports.
it's
That's
simple. It's simple.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Like I don't understand. That's your job. Like you have a chance. Like at the end of the day, like your goal should be to like be as successful as possible, and that would make you as successful as possible. Like, and yeah, I just don't get it.
So
And I
what
think
did you,
Rob messed up.
yeah.
Opportunity, big opportunity.
Did you hear Justin Gagey talking about Oliveira and how did you hear this? Justin Gagey had an
No,
interview, the press conference, and he said that he's been hit hard before, he's been dropped. No one has ever hit him like Oliveira. He related getting hit by Oliveira to putting your tongue on like a battery that's just like exploding and it just sending like the craziest shock through your body. He said that he's never felt what he's felt until he got hit by Oliveira. So that's a good sign for anyone who's
that's a good
picking
sign.
Oliveira to beat Islam like we are. Gagey said that yeah, Oliveira getting hit by him was like getting struck by lightning or getting, you know, again, he described it as like putting his tongue on like a battery and getting shocked or whatever. Crazy. And he said this. He says he is 100% certain that Islam will not dominate Oliveira. So he's saying that of course he could win, but there's no chance he says that Islam could dominate the guy. And this is coming from Gagey, who's got beat by Habib, who knows how good that style of wrestling is, and he's gotten hit by guys like Michael Chandler. He's gotten hit by big punchers. He's been finished before by Poirier, and he just said that Oliveira hit him like no one's ever hit him before. And well,
That's a great sign.
that's a good sign, man.
I love
Oliveira
that.
didn't have that much power in the beginning of his career. He's always had decent power, but again, he's a big guy. A lot of people forget how big he is. He's massive for the 155 division, and again, he's been knocking dudes out. He's been hurting guys, So I think that's a great sign, and I I the I mean that's got to be the most anticipated fight I have the whole year, aside from Jones versus Stipe or Jones Ngannou. I Oliveira and Islam is right up there with Conor Habib. I mean that fight was different. That fight was amazing, but I'm starting to feel that Conor Habib kind of energy. So I'm excited.
What I was actually thinking about last night, I was talking to some friends, like, what are 5 fights that will guarantee do over 1 million pay-per-views?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
I
something I
don't
was
think
thinking
there
about.
are. I don't think. Okay, wait. So
And no
like,
Connor, no Connor.
okay, well then I don't think there are
You don't
five.
think there's any? What about
I don't think Charles Islam does over a million.
you don't think Charles? But what about Sean O'Malley?
I think that maybe gets like I think that gets a lot. I think it maybe gets like 800K, but these days more and more people stream. Listen, that is I don't think it gets a million, bro.
You don't
Like
think? Yeah, but Sean O'Malley's fighting on it also.
even Jones and Stipe, that doesn't get a million. That the only listen,
Jones
the
and
number
Nagano.
one thing that I could say maybe gets a million is Charles and Islam because of how big both of those guys are, because O'Malley's on it too, because of how stacked it is. But I think that does way better than Jones and Stipe.
What about Jones versus Nagano?
I don't think that does a million, bro. I don't think that comes close. I'm just saying it, bro. You look at their pay-per-view numbers. Ngannou, what did he sell? Like 200K? He doesn't sell. Jones, he doesn't sell. Like
Jones is more because like he would dominate people, so nobody would care to see it. But like, I get what you're saying.
I know that people are anticipating Jones to come back and they know he could get knocked out by Ngannou, but like outside of people that love MMA and watch it all the time, like that's the thing. There aren't guys. Hey, listen, in order to sell a million, you have to bring in casual fans. Jones is not bringing in casual fans. He's just not. You may think he is because as an MMA fan, we think, oh my God, John Jones is coming back. But like the people that are really buying these pay-per-views, a lot of them don't really, they're like, they don't even know that Jones is fighting, bro. Like straight up, they're not as big of a stars as we think. That's why I'm like, Connor might be the only guy.
Chimaev. So
Habib might be
what
Connor.
about Chimaev versus Usman? I mean,
Okay,
not anymore. Not anymore.
listen,
Probably.
I'm gonna say it like this. Not anymore. Not anymore. Unfortunately, Chimaev versus Usman. I guarantee right now, before yesterday, if that fight were to be made, that would do better than Jones Miocic. And that's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that there are 5 fights in MMA that can sell over a million. I don't.
What about Adesanya Jones if they're never gonna fight? But what
That
about
would sell. That would sell over a million, but that's
yeah?
just not going to happen.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. That sucks honestly because I
It
feel like
does suck, bro. You know what? You know what could sell a million? Paddy Pimblett if he ever
Pat,
gets to the
if he
UFC
fought
belt.
for the title, Paddy
Paddy
Pimblett probably
Pimblett like versus Chimaev, or like you know what I mean. You have to start coming up with things that just aren't going to happen. Or for example, of course, I could say like Jones, Stipe, Charles, Islam on the same card, O'Malley for the belt, and Volkanovski fighting someone else for. If you have like 5 championship fights, but that doesn't happen, and that's the thing. It's like the fight, the things that sell over a million is just Conor coming back. That's other than that, I don't think anything's guaranteed to sell a million.
that sucks
Fortunately,
because like I don't think it really makes too much of a difference for the UFC because that kind of just means that they're just paying their fighters a little bit less. So that's what kind of sucks. Like that, it just like they don't really have
and
much
you have to
money
remember,
for that.
there's more streaming today than there's ever been. So that's a big part of it. Every year that goes by, there's less people buying pay per
Yeah,
view.
and I think the UFC has to figure something out with that because like no way Masvidal Colby sold 200,000 pay-per-views. Like that was a big fight. That definitely sold more than that, you know.
I don't. Where are these numbers coming from, by the way? Because that seems really low.
That's what I thought I
But
saw
that's
that.
the thing. Like, what if they're accurate, bro? Because if they were not accurate, wouldn't they be inflated? Wouldn't they be like
Yeah,
higher?
like it's like I don't know what it wouldn't really come up unless it's true, you know what I mean?
I'm worried about what Pena sold.
Oh, it says oh wait, it said hmm, it said that more than 400,000. So that's I don't think that's two. Wait, no, it wasn't 274, right? What was 274?
No, I think it was 272.
No, so okay, so Charles fight did 274.
But I
No, no,
think
sorry. Charles fight did 400,000 plus, but
that's the thing, man. That's
Usman didn't.
I
No,
don't know if
no,
Charles
Masvidal didn't.
Islam even. I don't think Charles Islam even comes close to a million. Islam and Charles a stacked card. That's 800K at best.
And I think the UFC are fine with that. Which
No, that's good. That's
yeah,
good. And the thing is, like, the UFC is still going to do fine. And first of all, this was a little bit of a disappointing summer. Like, I feel like the cards weren't as good as they could have been, and that's how it's been for the UFC and throughout the past few years. It's always going to be like that in the UFC. And I'll just say this until I hit my grave. The UFC constantly fucks itself over by understacking cards, and it could be doing a much better job. There could be better matchmakers, there could be better card creators. I don't know who runs the ship, but it could be a lot better. And I know that there are guys that work for the UFC that would tell me you don't really know how hard it is. I don't give a fuck. Okay.
we're
I
fans. Like we could say like
or, yeah.
we're gonna give the realest views. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna give like the fan views. Like we don't
So
care
Hyra,
about like
yeah,
we don't you could say like oh you don't know what it feels like to get in the cage like all that like yeah we don't but we're fans we're
yeah,
seeing it how most people see it you know what I'm saying like
yeah.
only a small majority like actually goes in the cage you know what I'm saying and we're the people that the UFC sells to you know
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's like, bro, I hopefully the UFC hires us one day so we could be the new
dude
matchmakers. That'd be
imagine
sick.
we would just not put any
Imagine I would drop everything I'm doing right now just to do that. If they were paying me some good money to be a matchmaker, that'd be the dream job.
dude
Obviously, the number one dream job would be a commentator. That'd be okay. Let me ask you, what is your dream job in MMA? You have to choose one.
that's a tough one
I
I
think
would say
mine would be commentator, straight up.
commentator too because commentator you see it live
See
and
it
like you see
right
these
up
moments
there.
that are crazy live like the
You're getting paid
Leon
to be
Edwards
there. Yeah.
dude, like that, yeah, I would say a commentator for sure. But matchmaker would be really cool too. Just like I'm like
How
it's
about Dana White's job?
dude, Jana White's job is so sick. Like literally, I remember watching one of the interviews, and literally he was like, he was like, he's like, we're all gonna meet on Tuesday. We'll discuss that at when we meet on Tuesday to like discuss matchmaking. Like that's so sick. You know what I mean? Like
He gets
imagine a
sitting on the
Tuesday for your
matchmaking
job to like
wheel.
talk about matchmaking. That's so
Yeah,
sick.
he's got a great life, man. Dana's got a great life, got all that money, gets to watch any fight that he wants, gets to make the fights, gets to fucking go to anything that he wants. So that's
Jealous of Dana.
cool.
Jealous of Dana. I
Yeah.
think we all are, you know.
What's the next card? The next card's Paris, right?
Paris. So actually, there's no card this weekend.
No card, yeah. But there Paris is gonna be a great card. Um, there was a big kickboxer that got signed by the UFC that was taken off of that card, unfortunately. I forget his name.
why
He's
was
at 170.
why was he
Frederick,
taken
I
off?
think it's like Frederick Doumbé or something like that, or Cedric Doumbé.
Why was he taken off?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm gonna try to get some info on that.
Apparently, he's the pound for pound best kickboxer on earth.
Real better than
Yeah, he got
Pereira.
signed by the UFC, 170.
Fighter taken off.
Also, Tony Ferguson is now
Oh yeah,
fighting
let's talk about
on the
that.
Chimaev card.
Yeah, let's talk. Oh, I
think
got the fight by the way. The guy is Ghost. I don't know how to say his
it's
name.
like
But
Cedric Doumbé. It's Cedric
yeah,
Doumbé.
yeah, yeah. Something like that. He was after severely pinky. He got hurt.
Interesting.
So
But like the Chimaev card, do we have any other fights that are on there?
yeah, let's look at that card
Because
also.
that card sucks, bro.
But I
And
think
I'm
who's that
sorry,
on
but
purpose,
it's
though?
gonna I'm still listen, of course I'm gonna watch, but there's just no anticipation for it because I already know what's gonna happen. There's like 99.9% chance that Chimaev finishes Nate Diaz easily. And there's no it's gonna be I mean, look, Chimaev's gonna run across the cage, finish him, and the night's over. I mean, that's the thing. It's like at least with a Usman or a Edwards or a hell of Bilal, at least there's some level of resistance, and that's interesting. But
Want to hear
uh,
something hilarious?
yeah,
The co-main is Johnny Walker versus
Ion
Ion.
Kutalaba.
I don't even know how to say his name, but yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, bro. These guys and Johnny Walker's probably gonna get knocked out too. But
I
oh
think
my
the UFC is
god.
doing this on purpose. I think that they're trying to devaluize Nate Diaz. I think
But at the same time, they're just hurting Khamzat Chimaev.
they are, but at the same time, like people see Diaz, and I think, yeah, you're right. They are hurting
Is,
Chimaev.
is Tony is Tony on there yet? Because Tony is supposed to be on there.
Tony's not
Li
on the
Jingliang.
UFC site yet on it, but he's on that fight on the
That card is pathetic.
yeah, that's the worst card I've maybe ever seen, honestly. And I think, yeah, the UFC, I think they're doing it on
There's
purpose.
no way I'm streaming that shit. I'm streaming that 100%. I don't care. I'm gonna stream it.
Well, if they give us cards like that, then
Yeah, I'm
cool. And
streaming
maybe
it.
that's what they want us to do. They maybe want us to stream it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
also, what's the worst that happens? The stream cuts out during the Chimaev Diaz fight, and oh no, I don't know what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen, bro.
yeah, exactly.
So
But
it's like
also Ferguson, so Ferguson's on that card. That's a little that surprised me a little bit. I mean, like
170.
that seems a little weird because I feel
Too
like
quick. He
it.
just
Yeah,
got
it almost
knocked
feels
out.
like it just happened when he just got knocked out, like out cold, bad, and he was like
Yeah.
he was out for 5. Like
Yeah,
Usman
that
was
was bad.
bad, but that was worse than Usman's,
That was worse than Usman's.
and like it's just so random.
Tony Ferguson's had way more damage than Usman has over
Yeah,
his.
he has also, and like that's such a random fight, honestly. Like at 172, like I feel like there was no talks about Tony going back to 170. I feel like that was a fight where he was like, where Tony, they were like, the UFC was like, okay, we need to make it a 279 a little bit better. Who's better to call than Tony Ferguson? So Tony Ferguson was like, oh, like it's not going to decline a fight. So
Li
he,
Jingliang just got a knockout win. I think he's gonna knock Tony out, bro.
you think he's going to?
Dude, he's big too. He's like a big guy. Tony's not that big.
Tony is not. Yeah,
I think the UFC's fucking listen. The UFC, another example how they're blowing it. They could have just set Tony Ferguson up with Dan Hooker. That'd be a fight that the fans really want to see. It'd be a winnable fight. Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor would be great too, because at least that's competitive. But I just don't understand why you're giving him this random matchup so quickly at 170.
There's nothing to gain
Guy
from
who's a
it.
power puncher. There's nothing to gain from it. Tony Ferguson's manager again screws him over. Has never booked him for a 5-rounder. Like Tony Ferguson the way he wins fights is by winning in deep waters, by outlasting his opponents, using his cardio, and he's been booked with nothing but 3 rounders ever since he's fought Justin Gaethje, booked for a 3 rounder against Beneil Dariush, booked for a 3 rounder against Charles Oliveira, booked for a 3 rounder against Michael Chandler. They keep booking him for 3 rounders. His management sucks. Straight up, they're terrible. Tony Ferguson should be the main event of a fight night. He should be the main event of a pay-per-view against Conor or a fight night against a Dan Hooker. I'm tired of seeing Tony get fucked over, and he's gonna lose this fight. I think he's gonna get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think he's gonna get KO'd. He fought 4 months ago. Again, the UFC. I don't, and the thing is, they're not like Li Jingliang is not this guy who's a young guy who needs to be built up. Like he's an old guy himself, but he's not a big name. Why are you just? Dude, he's gonna KO him.
Yeah. I that's the thing about Tony Ferguson also. Like you would think you'd want to make the most money at this point, and a
And
fight
like,
with Li
yeah,
Jingliang or whatever, like it's not going to make you any money, and it's the hardest fight to win probably. Like a Dan Hooker fight, people would watch, people would like look forward to that fight, and it's a winnable fight. And I just think you go up to 170 that you where you haven't fought in years, and against a guy who way bigger than you and doesn't have a big name. Like there's just nothing to gain. Like if he beats the guy, like 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 who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, but if he loses, then it 5 straight losses for Tony Ferguson. That's probably his last fight in the UFC.
yeah.
So I don't get it. I wanted to see Hooker Ferguson. It's unfortunate, but they're actually booked some fights for 281. They put they didn't really talk about it much. Nobody's really said much about it, but it's actually a pretty good fight. Wonderboy versus Kevin Holland on UFC 280.
Ooh, that is a
That's a
good
banger.
fight.
That's a banger.
That's a sick fight. I like that. And I don't know, man. I Wonder Boy is old, so you never know. But if it's striking, I mean,
Yeah,
Kevin Holland, I don't think he's gonna shoot that much.
that's
I'd probably lean towards Wonder Boy, but like he's old, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Holland gets one over him. But man, I think Wonder Boy is again like we talked about best strikers in the UFC. I think we forgot to mention Wonder Boy, but just striking, pure striking, I think he might even be the best striker or easily top 5 because again, just striking when he's not fighting a guy who can grapple. Like, when he fought Tyron Woodley, Woodley was able to drop him a few times, but that's also because he had that threat of the takedown. He was so explosive, but technically, Wonder Boy is basically as good as they come. So I'm gonna favor him. Who you got in that? That's an amazing fight. I like that. But
that's a
that's Madison Square Garden, right?
yeah.
Ooh, okay.
That's an interesting fight because like you think like okay, Wonderboy, like he's old, all that stuff. But Kevin Holland isn't really going to shoot for takedowns. So it's very likely it could be a striking match. And you're going to obviously favor Wonderboy in a striking fight. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, that's honestly a great matchup for Wonderboy. That's a great matchup. Dude, I don't know who. That's such a tough fight to. I'm gonna say Holland. I'm gonna say Holland does get a takedown and could control because he's not a terrible like he's got some good jujitsu and he's not a terrible wrestler. 185, he got dominated on the ground just because he was way too small. But I think at 70, like he's a pretty decent wrestler. So I'm gonna favor Kevin Holland. But if it stays on the feet, then Wonder Boy's gonna win. Like any fight. Most fights, if they stay on like pretty much any fight Wonder Boy's gonna be in.
Yeah.
If it stays on the feet, he's gonna win. So I think this is a great fight for great matchup for Wonder Boy. It's even a good match for Kevin Holland too, because if you beat
Yeah.
Wonder Boy, you're right in the top 10 of welterweight. And who knows, Kevin Holland could be a threat at welterweight, you know?
I'm happy that they didn't book Wonderboy with Shavkat because then
Oh yeah.
again like that's basically the same thing as booking Khamzat with Diaz. It's just there's no chance for him to win. Like Wonderboy is easily gonna get taken down by Shavkat, and I'm happy. Like that's what they should do with Tony. They should give Tony a guy who's actually like gonna be good, a good stylistic matchup. And I know Li Jingliang is a good striker, but again, he's just a bigger guy, up a weight division, got KO power. It's just not really good. It's not that competitive, but like this is a competitive fight. So I like that fight a lot.
I hope one
Speaking of,
day.
yeah,
What?
speaking of the 170, like what the fuck is Colby Covington doing? And also, who again? I just mentioned Shavkat, and I really do think that it's gonna be Shavkat who's gonna get to the belt, and I think it's gonna be him and Hamza. I think that's gonna be a massive fight. And
Like,
that'll really represent the new age of MMA when that goes down. But
what's going
where
on now? Yeah, like that.
yeah,
That's what I don't understand. Like we talked about it a few weeks ago. Like, why aren't they booking a Shavkat fight? I
yeah.
don't get it. Like, I don't like it. Just doesn't make sense. Like,
But
you have a potential superstar.
yeah.
Like in terms of talent, I mean, he's not going to
Well,
really.
at this point, that though, like Burns is gonna fight Masvidal. I'm not that interested in Masvidal.
No, no,
I
no.
think Burns is gonna win that. But again, like Shavkat, he wants to move up, and Bilal is booked against Brady. Who could he fight? Colby, but again, I guarantee you Colby ain't fighting Colby, and I'm just saying this as a Colby fan, as a guy who wants him to do well, as a guy who wanted him to beat Usman twice. Like, I just gotta say it. He's wasting his prime and he doesn't take tough fights straight up. The only tough fight he'll take is a title shot because he's
I
fought
hate that.
Bobby Lawler, Tyron Woodley, Masvidal, guys he's supposed to beat. He's never taken on a Burns. He's never Wood. Obviously, Usman is basically as tough as they come, but like he's never. He's. I don't see Colby Covington fighting a Shavkat. I think he's. I
No.
mean, smart not to, but again, it's disappointing because like he's wasting his prime,
We talked about the other week, and I completely agree. Like,
wasting his
I
prime.
like Colby.
He's like 34 right now.
He's a star. Colby's one of the few stars in the UFC, and like when Colby fights, people tune in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the Masvidal thing. I think that was a lot of illegal streams and stuff like that. But like, regardless, Colby's a big name in the UFC, and like he's just wasting his prime. He could be making so much more money, and I honestly think he could beat a lot of the guys in the top of the
That's
division.
the
You know what I'm saying?
saddest part is
That's
like it's not like he's just a regular fighter who's entertaining. He could become champion. Like he's one of those guys that could become a champion. He almost has become a champion twice. He's gotten so close, and he's 34 and he's not doing anything. Okay, he did fight Masvidal this year, but like
Masvidal.
we get the sense that it's going to be another year till this fucker fights. Like
Yeah, I think what's gonna actually happen. I think Usman losing makes Colby a lot more interesting because I think what the UFC could do is they can go with Leon Chimaev and then they can go Brady, the winner of Brady Bilal fight Colby, and they'd be like, Colby, look, if you can get the next title shot after Usman if you beat the winner of Bilal Brady. And I think that's what they would do. And I think Colby
Brady,
would be down.
there's no fucking chance Brady would beat Colby.
No,
I think that's a
there's
good
no
idea. That's a great
no
idea.
way.
First of all, I don't think that Brady beats Bilal. It's a 3-rounder, and Bilal's got like really good wrestling. I don't think he's gonna get taken down, and he's a much better striker than Brady. I fucking don't like Brady, bro. He's
Yeah, dude, fuck Brady. Like, dude, like
we're not fans of Brady here,
we hate
bro.
Brady. Fuck
What's he?
Brady.
And also, if he ever sees me in person, what's he gonna do? Like, what? Lie on top of me, dude?
Yeah, dude, he's gonna beat us by decision. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly, dude. He'll beat us by decision, bro.
Dude, fuck
Yeah, Brady is easily pound for pound, aside from Israel Adesanya these days. But Brady's worse because at least Izzy has had some fucking good fights.
and at least
He's
Izzy
never
before
had
the
a good fight in his whole life.
and at
Even the
least
jiu-jitsu fights are shit.
what?
I don't follow jujitsu. He's done some jujitsu matches like against some of the top guys, and even those, he's known for being like someone who does nothing in those matches too.
I just fucking hate
He's
that guy. I
dude,
hate that
straight
guy.
up,
The thing about Izzy, like, look, as much as we hate on Izzy, like
yeah,
he's gonna talk before the fights. He'll like hype the fights up at
yeah.
least. Brady, like you don't, I've never heard him speak in my entire life. Like, and when he gets in the ring, it's just as boring. You know what I'm saying? So like, I honestly, yeah, he's the most boring man in the UFC. Forget most boring fighter too, but the
Yeah,
most
he's the most
boring man
boring
in
fighter in the
UFC
UFC.
is
Straight up.
Sean Brady, and I'm gonna be cheering for Bilal Muhammad heavy.
Same.
You know, like,
That's how you know someone's boring when you're cheering for Bilal. Bilal's one of the most boring guys too, but like
no,
Bilal
yeah,
makes him look Bilal looks entertaining next to
first
Sean
compared
Brady.
to Sean Brady. Also, I want speaking of most boring fighters on that video we posted. Everyone is coming back, being like, "Oh, you got Leon was whatever," but that's one instance in Leon's whole career where he wasn't boring.
Yeah,
Like,
Leon's
Leon's
still like
still a boring fighter. Like
dude,
we're
he wasn't really throwing that much. Like he was kind of being himself yesterday. I mean, of course, he landed the amazing head kick, but he's like, I don't know, he's still a relatively boring fighter. Um, but you know, I at first when he KO'd Usman, I was just like, damn, like this kind of throws a wrench in everything. Now it's gonna be weird. Like, seeing that Usman Chimaev fight is probably not gonna happen next. And because of that, I was a little like disappointed, but it does add a lot of interest to the
I
division
like
and it
it. I
does
like it.
make things interesting.
And I'm happy for Leon. Look,
I am too.
I'm happy for him, and I really like. You saw yesterday how much it meant to him,
Yeah.
and that was great to see. Like that felt like it was straight out of the movie. Like
Yeah, straight
played
up,
the
man. I mean,
Rocky
just
song. Like
humble guy. Everyone counted him out.
yeah, that was that's what UFC is about, honestly. And I'm happy for Leon Edwards. I think, yeah, I'm happy for Leon Edwards. He's boring usually, but still a good guy. And he great story, but yeah, that another fight like we were talking about earlier. I didn't want to I don't know why I just hope it's a little sad that the UFC would have never booked Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. That's the fight that everybody's wanted for years.
Again, they're fighting on the same card, right? And
It's
they're both fighting at 170, right? Like, why couldn't they have just put them together and have Chimaev fight someone else?
like
It
that
doesn't make sense. They're just I don't understand like why are they doing this? Tony Ferguson, Nate Diaz, Chimaev, Colby, or Chimaev, whoever, some other guy in the top five. Chimaev, fuck, Chimaev Burns rematch would be fine. I mean, like, just they could have had two amazing fights, and now they have two half-ass fights.
I'm gonna be I honestly what I think is I think nobody wants to fight Chimaev. That's what I think it is. I think Burns and Diaz were the only guys who were willing to fight Chimaev.
Possibly.
That's what I think happened. And I think even with Shavkat, I think that's likely that's a real possibility that's happening also is that
Yeah, I don't think
nobody
Colby
wants to
wants to
fight
fight
this guy.
Shavkat.
And that sucks. Like it's the UFC. Like you guys are getting in the cage no matter what. Like I don't respect that honestly. Like a guy like I love what I love is about guys like Connor. Like there's a couple guys, Connor, John Jones. Like
Yeah,
these guys are willing to fight. Like they're willing to fight anybody.
anyone.
And I just like I wish we had more guys like that. Chimaev would fight anybody. On
Yeah,
who else? Like I mean, freaking Tony Ferguson would fight anybody. Nate Diaz would fight anybody. This
Nate
is a
Diaz, I'll
perfect
respect
example of
it.
that. Why can't we have more guys who are willing to just to fight? You know, like we have all these scared fighters like Colby Covington, who are just like are scared to fight anybody in the top five. Like it's so stupid. Like it really
Yeah.
it pisses me off. And you
And
know,
again, it's like, I don't know. I mean, listen, if Colby's game plan is to like only fight once every year and a half, but win and then get his title shot and just win that, and maybe he's just banking on, okay, I need to do whatever it takes to get the title shot. I don't want to take any risks. I want to make sure I win all the fights. Then sure, he's making the right decision and he could be doing that. But again, it's like when you get to the title, you're gonna fight the toughest guy anyway. So you may as well just fight a tough guy now because like there's no easy fight at the title. Colby's best chance of winning that title is against Leon. And again, it's like if Leon fought Edwards again, I understand that Edwards could win, but I might favor Usman. And if Colby fought Edwards, I would favor Colby. Um, so
what
it's one of those things. But again, those guys aren't going to be there forever. Soon we got the Chimaevs, the Rockmanovs, like we got the the new age of MMA coming up in the 170-pound division. So Colby's got to make his move now because, if he plays his cards right, by the time he gets the title shot in 2025, maybe 2 more years, he'll fight twice, get his title shot. And by then it's going to be Chimaev on his 4th title defense. Colby's going to be like a 40-year-old man and he's going to lose.
Smoked. Yeah. Colby Covington, especially a guy like him, who is a really good fighter. Like that's the thing that it's the most upsetting about it is that he's a great fighter. You know what I mean? But we just
everybody that he fights aside from Usman, and he arguably was winning the first fight and arguably got a draw in the second one.
Yeah, and exactly. So I don't know. Colby, even if he just called out Leon last night or today, just called out Leon, that's even a smart move for him to do. Because it shows that he at least wants to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we don't know anything about Colby. We don't know if he is going to return to the UFC. You know what I mean?
So maybe he's happy with his money. I mean, because think about it, a lot of people were still picking him against Chimaev if they were to fight, and
no way.
Maybe he's just trying to get that money, bro. I mean, maybe he's just happy with the money. Maybe he doesn't love it as much anymore. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? For all we know, I've heard Jesse on Fire say this, and he says a lot of things that are just for the clickbait. But maybe they're putting him up against Conor because that would sell 1 million.
They're not going to do that. Conor would never do that. No, Conor. UFC would never do that fight just because I think they know that Conor would get slaughtered. You know what I mean?
Who is Conor going to fight then? Because Nate Diaz is leaving. Tony Ferguson, they're not matching him up with anyone good. Conor wants to fight for the belt, or who would Conor fight? He's not fighting Islam, that's for sure.
That's a good question. I think
170.
If Tony Ferguson wins this fight, Conor at 170 makes complete sense.
But why is that different than Conor at 155 versus Tony?
I just think that would be more because they could do 55 too, but I just think Conor would rather fight at 70 at this point.
I don't know. I think I understand why he would do that, but I personally think that Conor is too small for 170. I know he's bulked up, but
I agree with you.
Not a natural 170. He's a bulked up 170 pounders, put muscle on, but he's still going to be one of the smallest guys in that division.
Maybe the small.
Conor cutting down to 170. He's not shredded to the bone, right? He's got fat on his body. When guys like Usman or Chimaev are cutting to 170, they are shredded to the bone. They're killing themselves to get to 170. On the night of the fight, they're 200 pounds. Conor on the night of the fight at 170 is at most probably 178, 180. You know what I mean? He's not that big for 170. I think he gets smoked by most guys. But then again, this is just me considering his title implications. He's never going to win a title. I mean, you think about the champions, he'll never, ever beat any of the champs at 170. He'll never beat the champs at 155. So he'll never beat Volk. He's just kind of done.
So that's why you
about. So sad.
That's why you do the Ferguson fight. You know what I mean? That's why you do the fight, because
why can't he just fight Cans? Why don't they just give him a guy Cans, bro? Get Conor in there 5 times a year fighting Cans, bro.
And everybody would love that.
Everyone will like it, dude. Just give him some Cans.
Because as long as Conor wins, everybody loves it. You know what I'm
Straight
saying?
Up, man. Why does he have to get the hardest guys, the main events? Just give him the fucking main event against, who Dan Hooker, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Hooker. Dan Hooker's not a can, but give him a guy who's coming out of the Contender Series for the first time or something. Give him Bo Nickel opponent that Bo Nickel just fought. Give him one of those guys.
That would do numbers. I think
that do numbers, bro. Stack the pay-per-views.
I think that all that it is Conor just wanting to fight the best guys.
Yeah, because I guarantee Conor could tell the UFC, hey, I don't need just give me an easy fight.
Oh, they would do that right away.
Easily, bro.
They would do it right away. He just doesn't want the easy fights. ever, which is like we love that about Conor, but at this point of his career, like you can't have that attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you need to get some wins. You know what I mean? Like imagine how hard it was to fight to like get him to fight Cerrone. Like that fight was probably so hard to like make happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like at least then Cerrone was like, I'm straight up talking like way even worse cans than Cerrone. Like I mean, I understand that Connor's got an ego and he's gonna know that if he takes a can on, people are just gonna say he's scared to fight a real fighter and all that. But what if he just says, you know what, fuck all you guys. I just want to get in the octagon and fight someone. And you know what? I don't give a fuck who I'm fighting. Just give me a guy I can beat up on. I'm gonna do it in front of the whole world. Like,
Dude, I wish you did that. That would be amazing. Like,
same, bro.
and it would
Uh,
sell millions of pay-per-views too. If Conor
yeah.
won, everybody would party. You know, like it's like,
Give him like James Vick. Give him some dude with like one of the worst chins.
oh
Or
yeah,
who,
Conor
who
KO.
who's got a
Imagine
really bad chin at 170 or 155.
155. We were who did we oh Matt, I wish there was a Johnny Walker of that division.
Yeah. But yeah, man, just give Connor some old washed up guy or some new guy who's barely got a lot of experience, who's in the UFC, who's like won a fight or two. Give Connor those fights. I guarantee you, bro, Connor could be fighting multiple times a year, winning, and who knows, maybe that'd even be better for him. Maybe he could work his way up the rankings. But again, Connor, Colby, these guys are just wasting their prime. Connor has more of a reason to waste his
Yeah.
prime because he's super rich anyway. But it just sucks because I guess the Connor era is just done, and at this point, it's just hard for me to accept that we'll never have a massive star being the champion. We just won't have that unless even if Chimaev wins the belt, bro. It's like you know what I mean. That massive next level
Yeah.
star just doesn't exist in the
I
sport
don't
right
it
now.
may
That
not
sucks.
ever exist though. That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
that generation
Connor's an enigma.
that generation could be done. You know, I mean, it's only been there. I mean, there's been like I think there's been a handful of them. Like Connor's the biggest, obviously, but Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
Ronda Rousey, like those are like those.
basically like the Mike Tyson of our era. Like
Uh,
he is the biggest guy ever, and maybe no one will ever pass him.
I
Like,
think I don't think anyone will ever pass Connor in terms of popularity ever in the
and
UFC.
if that
Like,
happens, like it might not happen for another. Like, who knows? It might happen, but maybe it doesn't. You know?
and I think the thing about that is the thing that it sucks more as fans than it does for the UFC because
Yeah, the UFC is going to be fine.
the UFC is going to be well do well no matter what.
Yeah,
And they're going to be making money no matter what. They're going to be growing no matter what. But as fans, like it's so much more interesting when you have a guy like Connor. You know what I mean?
man. I wish I was really following the sport when Connor was on his rise because I really started following the sport in 2018, and that's like, of course, Connor fought Habib, and
I
but
remember
like,
that was crazy. That-
man, I wish I would have seen Connor's rise because that would have been
yeah,
sick.
same. Like I
All
remember,
there's probably never going to be anything like that again.
never. And I remember when I kind of remembered like I was young. I mean not that young, but like I remember when he was fighting the Diaz
Yeah,
fight.
I remember that. I remember the buildup on social media. I remember the shock when he lost and all that. I remember seeing the rematch of Buffalo Wild Wings. So I had known what was going on with Connor before I really started watching, but like that's how you know it was crazy because like even us, we probably weren't that big of UFC fans or MMA fans, but like we fucking knew what was going on.
Everyone knew. Everyone
Everyone knew.
my mom knew. My mom knew who Connor was. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's crazy. Like people who didn't
2017, bro. My family knew that he was fighting Mayweather, and I was, you know.
that's crazy. And it's unfortunate. And like maybe Patty Pimlet, like I don't
Hopefully. But like the thing is, man, does he
Connor
have
was
what
different,
it
bro.
takes?
Connor had the looks, Connor had
Connor
the
had everything.
style, the great fighter, like the
Yeah.
talking.
The
Patty kind of
knockouts.
has just the talking, you know what I'm saying? Like there will never be another
And
Connor
even
McGregor.
Pimblett, like he's good at talking, but he's still not the same as Connor.
No, Connor had this like charisma that was just like on a different level.
Yeah. And not many people were doing it. Like, of course, there was Chael Sonnen who was great at trash talk before that. And there were guys that talked a little trash, but no one did it as upfront as Connor. Connor was straight up, like just straight up,
So
no
beast,
bars hold, just going at everyone.
so smooth. And I actually want to give a hot take. speaking of Chael Sonnen, I think he was the cringiest UFC fighter of all time.
Dude,
That's what I think.
really? That
I look, I
is a hot
love
take.
Chael Sonnen.
I like Chill.
I
I
love
think,
Chael now,
yeah.
like everything he does now. Like I watch his videos and stuff. Like I'm a Chael fan now,
Yeah.
but like rewatching his old like press conferences and stuff is just so cringy to me. I don't
Some
know.
of it is.
Do you not get that vibe also?
I think a lot of, like, I love a lot of his trash talk. I think a lot of his trash talk is really funny. I think it's clever. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. I mean, there's a different appeal to his trash talk versus Connor's. Chill's is a little more lighthearted, but it's more like well thought out. I like Chill. I like Chill. I've never thought of him as cringe. There are some guys that I think are cringe. Like
Usman.
Adesanya is the biggest cringe
And
fest.
he
Like
knows that.
Adesanya,
Like
Adesanya. Oh, the thing about Chill though is that even when he said things that were cringe, like, I feel like he would know it. Adesanya will say things that are cringe, and he doesn't. He genuinely thinks it's like the coolest shit ever.
yeah,
I
Adesanya,
think
like
Adesanya is the cringiest dude of all time.
I don't get why people like why he has fans. That's what I don't understand.
It's
Like
weird, bro.
I think that there's one thing like he's done great things in the UFC. Like he's did what he's needed to do to be great. But like,
I used to be a
how
fan
could
of his
anyone
back in the
support
day.
his boring fighting? How could
Yeah.
anyone support his cringe trash talk or whatever it is? Like, how can any like how could Izzy have fan supporters? I don't get it. Do they just relate in with anime or something? Like I don't
His
know,
only fans are like the skinny Nigerian nerds that get picked on at school or whatever. That's really it.
dude.
Other than that, like, if you're not a nerd who gets picked on in a Nigerian school, I don't know. I mean, like, listen,
Dude, if you don't
yeah,
watch anime, if you're not an huge anime fan who gets picked on at school, you're probably not
yeah,
a Zero Adesanya fan.
exactly. Like, yeah, honestly, man, Israel Adesanya is the cringiest dude ever. That's like, I really cannot wait for him to get solo left against Pereira, bro.
Dude, it was so no, like yeah, I'm hype. And honestly, it's not even like Adesanya wasn't always like this. Like he was obviously a little cringe, but like in the last like 2 years, he's just took it to a whole nother level with the boring fighting and then the cringiness. Like people at this point, people are gonna tune into Adesanya fights wanting to get him not wanting him
Yes,
to get
that's
knocked
basically
out.
what I'm
That's
doing
his
with him and Pereira. Because if he beats Pereira, then I'm never watching him fight
oh
again.
yeah,
Unless he fights Chimaev,
yeah.
I'm never watching him fight again. But I was watching him and Derek Brunson's press conference. This was for Woodley and Till. This is in 2018. They did a big press conference with a lot of different guys from different events that were coming up. Adesanya and Brunson were there. He was better at trash talking back then. He wasn't as cringe back then. He was up and coming. He was still young. He was cool back then, bro. I don't know what the fuck happened, but like, and his performance against Brunson was amazing. Like, on the come up, Adesanya was great. Like, I loved watching him.
Yeah.
He was cool, but he just got so old so fast, you know?
After that Jan fight, the
Yeah,
after
after the
the
Jan
Jan
fight,
fight
he got
changed him.
super old so fast.
Changed him because even before the Jan fight, I was an Izzy fan before the Jan fight, and
Yeah.
then even after the Jan fight, but like after I would say after the Vittori fight,
I think I wanted Jan to win, but I thought Izzy was gonna win. Okay. So when he fought Costa, I wanted Costa to win, and Izzy destroyed him. So I was like, whatever, great performance by Izzy. He's probably gonna KO Jan now. But I wanted Jan to win. So I found myself, ever since he fought Yoel Romero, honestly, I wanted Whitaker to beat him. I wanted Yoel to beat him. I wanted Costa. I basically want him to lose every time. Like, I think after he fought, I think after he fought Silva, I basically stopped rooting for him just because I would like guys better. Like, I liked Whitaker more. I liked Yoel more, but I still kind of liked Adesanya. It was just I don't know. There's just something about Adesanya where he's always been. I guess I gotta say he's always been a little cringe.
yeah, but now it's
I wanted him to beat Gaslam. When he fought Gaslam, I wanted him to beat. That was when I was a big Adesanya fan. Um, but nowadays it's like, it's just, I'm tired of seeing it.
you know who I actually love as a fighter. Like I feel like we don't talk about him as much, and he is fighting coming up. So let's talk about him more next week. But Robert Whittaker, I
Yeah.
love Robert Whittaker, honestly. Like he's one of my favorite fighters. I feel like I just always forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're always talking about the Chimaevs, the Charleses, but Robert Whittaker is definitely one of my favorite fighters too. Like he's just such a I love his fighting style, and like he's just such a nice guy and like all that. You know what I mean? He's so likable. Like like I just
Yeah.
wish he was the champ
I
still.
know he should be, in my opinion. I mean, he's very likable. He's respectful. He's got some. He's had amazing fights. One of my favorite fight of all time. He's part of it. With Yoel Romero, um, just extremely technical. Probably one of the best strikers in the UFC, and all of his fights are pretty entertaining. I mean, even his fight with Israel Adesanya, the rematch, like that was a slow fight. It wasn't that entertaining, but I do believe that Whitaker won, so that was impressive for me. I could understand saying Adesanya won, but I still think Whitaker won that, and I'm so hyped to see him destroy Vittori because
You think he destroys Vittori?
I think he whoops him up, bro. I think he whoops him up bad. I think it's just gonna be Vittori getting his head whipped, lashed back for 3 rounds. I think Whitaker
Is
is
it a 3-rounder?
just gonna be slapping him up for 3 rounds.
Wait, so it's a 3-rounder, not a 5-rounder.
3 rounder.
That's what I don't get why they wouldn't make that the main event rather than Gone to of
Well, because
Austin.
Gon's from Paris, so they got to do that as the main. And Gon's the heavyweight and all that. Like
That's fair.
but
That's
but,
fair.
but again, yeah, I don't see how Vittori wins. People are saying like you're counting him out, you're counting him out. And I'm like, bro, Whitaker has some of the best takedown defense in the UFC history. On top of that, he is a much faster, explosive striker than Vittori. He's got good cardio. He has amazing footwork. He's amazing on the back foot. Vittori is all about pressure. Whitaker's striking he's got some of the best striking in the UFC on the back foot. Arguably top 2 in the world striking in the back foot, him and Wonderboy. And again, it's like amazing takedown defense. He's not going to get taken down. He's great on the back foot. He can fight like that all night. He's got really good output. He's really fast. He's got an amazing jab. He's got really damaging kicks. I just think this is a terror. And Vittori doesn't have knockout power. He's not the most explosive guy. He's got a chin and he mixes it up well, but mixing it up well and having heavy pressure style just fits right into Whitaker's game. I think this is clear as day. If Whitaker loses this fight, I think it's by a fluke KO. I think there's no other way he loses this fight.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think the thing about Whitaker that I think people forget is he beats everybody other than Izzy.
Yeah, he literally is. He's not lost to anyone other than Izzy. So the 2 fights that he's had that have been extremely close have been the Izzy rematch and the Yoel Romero rematch.
Or the
Izzy,
first one.
the first one. Oh no,
No, the second one.
The second Yoel fight and the second Izzy fight. Other than that, he's won every single fight that he's had clearly in his entire life. Obviously, he got knocked out by Izzy, but literally beats everyone and beats them pretty handily. I mean, easily beat Cannonier. He had a tough 3rd round, but he beat Cannonier clearly. He's beaten everyone he's faced clearly, and he's beaten the toughest guys. Kelvin Gastelum, he's Cannonier, Jacare Souza back in the day. He's beat Yoel Romero, beat him twice. The first time, beat him clearly. I mean, Whitaker is amazing, bro. Whitaker is incredible. I think again, he's basically just as good as Adesanya. I mean, that fight could have been a draw, or he could have won. Him and Adesanya are levels above everyone. We'll see how Pereira is, but again, it's I think Whitaker could basically he's like the Colby Covington
or the Max Holloway,
but even more impressive, or the Max Holloway, or even more impressive because like I guess Max Holloway.
But I see what you're saying because I
those,
think
those guys are all good, like Colby, Max, Whitaker.
But I don't even, dude. Honestly, I don't even think Colby's that guy. I don't think he's that guy that people think he is. Like as the
Whitaker's fought better competition.
Exactly. Whitaker's being the best.
He's more like Max. Exactly.
Yeah, Max and Whitaker are the only two guys who are like that because Colby doesn't beat guys in the top five.
Colby
I mean,
beat like a washed up Tyron Woodley and Robbie Lawler.
washed up Robbie Lawler too, and
Yeah,
also a washed up Masvidal. Like he
yeah,
doesn't have any impressive wins on his resume. Like
yeah.
we just base Colby off of how he does against Usman, and like yeah, he does amazing against Usman, but like I think there's a real chance that Colby isn't close to as good as we think he is.
No, I think Colby's is good. I still think he's amazing because, like, he beat RDA. RDA is
He was
not
washed. He's not a 170 RDA. RDA at 170, like everyone beat him at 170. Like RDA was a 55er. He was
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I still think Colby's got good wins coming up, but like you're right, man. That Woodley win was not that like
oh dude, it was a wash Woodley, a wash
yeah.
Robbie Lawler, a wash George Masvidal, and it's had some really close fights with Usman. But that's what we based
But
it off.
that does tell us a lot, even though
But
that
like
does
the
tell
thing
us a
is,
lot.
but the thing about Usman is like you're not getting the Usman that you're getting against Covington is you're getting a Usman who's striking. And Usman isn't a great striker. So like it's got to be a close fight, you know?
I understand that. But Colby's not a great striker. I like
No,
the
so that's why it's going to be a close fight because neither of those guys are going to wrestle because they're both good wrestlers. So
yeah.
it's just be a striking match and like they're both aren't great strikers, so it's just going to look pretty even, you know?
But I mean, but my point is, let's say you put him against a striker and he beats them. That's not that impressive. But if you put him against a grappler, it might be close every time. So
But
Colby,
like you put him against a grappler who's a better striker and he's getting smoked.
okay,
If you put him, look, I think if you put him against Gilbert Burns beats him.
really, okay.
And I think you put him against Chimaev
But
beats
I
him.
could also see Colby gassing Gilbert Burns, getting dropped here and there in the first 2 rounds, and then just destroying him in the last 3. Because
Yeah,
Burns,
the thing is, I think
Colby breaks guys. He
the
like
thing that you could say though from the Usman fights is Colby has a great chin because
and some of the best cardio. Burns doesn't have that great cardio.
yes. So in a 5 rounder, I would probably take Colby, but I think in a 3 rounder, I would maybe take Burns.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. They'll Colby does not. He's not going to do anything but a
Dude,
5.
like fucking Colby, bro. I like Colby, but I can't I can't keep like sticking up for him if he's gonna like.
I just want to see him fight, bro. Like at the end of the day, I'm just a fan of these guys. I just want to see them fight.
Yeah, we want the best for all these fighters. Like we want to see the best from all these fighters. We want to see Izzy have a great fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're cheering for Izzy to have great fights. Like we just like can't stand when guys have boring fights or when they're not fighting, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we want that because we know that how entertaining they could be.
right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like we know how entertaining Izzy could be. Like if a guy like Sean Brady, we're just not gonna like, you know what I mean? The reason we talk about Izzy so much is because we know what we could get from him, but
yeah,
we're not getting it from him. That's why we're so upset about it.
yeah.
Sean Brady, you can't get anything
There's
from him.
nothing. There's nothing. Even if he performs at his best, it's gonna suck.
Exactly. Like Izzy at his best is so entertaining, and just that's why it's so upsetting that when he has
True,
these boring fights.
true. And that's the thing. Like again, I can't blame him because if I was him, I might be doing the same thing. But it's just
Yeah, it
as a
sucks. It
fan,
sucks
it's
for us
rough
to
to
watch.
watch.
It sucks
Yeah,
for
it's
us
tough
to
for us to
watch.
watch. So
But
uh, let's before we wrap it up, what's your predictions for the UFC Paris? Because I'm going Whitaker.
wait. Let's wait
Yeah.
till next week. Let's wait till next week.
Okay, we'll wait till next week. Any closing thoughts? Anything else?
Closing thoughts. Okay, let's think. That's a good question. Honestly, I'm looking forward to UFC Paris. That's a really stacked card, honestly. I
Good
like
card.
having Vittori uh Whitaker as a co-main on a fight night is really good.
Yeah, that's great. Dawn and Tuivasa. I think we know what's gonna happen there, but like that's a good fight. Tuivasa makes it interesting because he's got good power and he's entertaining. But I can't wait. I can't wait for that. And then the next week we have Corey Sandhagen and Song
I'm
Yadong.
excited for that
Oh
one.
wait, is that the next week? Or is
No,
that
wait. Actually, I want to like
No, I'm sorry, then it's Chimaev Diaz, but Corey Sanhagen Song Yadong's after that.
Don't we have like this Mackenzie Dern fighting a main event on a fight night?
I hope not.
I think we do. Let me just look before we end this. I want to just look at this really quick because I feel like I saw that. And then we're gonna have to go off on that week or whatever.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable. Hold on 1 second. Mackenzie Dern should never be headlining an event. Yes, October 1st. Dern versus Jan.
I wonder who she's fighting. I mean, I wonder who
Jan,
else.
I don't even know who this girl is. Jan something.
Yeah, I don't care about that fight.
That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace, but we'll talk about it as the day goes sooner. But Mackenzie Dern should not be headlining an event. So
Definitely not.
So
all right, well,
how about we finish it off that,
Yeah. Anyway, that was thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. I'm looking forward to breaking down UFC Paris.
Yeah, so am
And,
I.
hopefully we get some more big fights that are made soon.
Yeah, that's honestly, I'm gonna end it off a good note. That UFC Paris, best fight night of 2022.
I would agree. I would say so.